YouTube. I decided to do a little video on 3 books that influenced me in my childhood. 3 books I read as a child and have stayed with me for the rest of my life so far, and that have had some kind of an impact. I was going to start with The Ringer Bells Mystery. I've already mentioned that in the previous video, so I won't count this as one of the 3. I've chosen a substitute for it, but just to mention that this is the first book I ever bought for myself, and it's a basic adventure story, and it got me interested in books and writing and what have you. That's The Ringer Bells Mystery by Enid Blyton. So the first of my official 3 is this one. This is The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. I think it was the last of the Narnia books that he wrote, but it's the first in chronological order. It ends with the creation of Narnia, but that wasn't the reason I liked it. The reason I liked it was because it conjured up such vivid imagery. It brought fantasy worlds and the real world together in a way that I've never known before. Beautifully written, great characters. It just fed the imagination amazingly well. And this is the original copy that I had way back. I haven't got a new copy yet. Usually when I buy a book, it's a good book, I keep it, and you can end up sort of, well, Fireweed by Jill Paton Walsh. I spent many hours under the bedclothes at night with a torch when I was a lot younger, reading this. And this is, I'd heard about the Second World War, of course. My parents lived through it, but they didn't live through the Blitz. They weren't in London or any of the big cities, they were in the countryside, so they didn't have that experience. And I'd seen it on the TV and everything, and I'd thought it must have been an exciting time, but it must have been a scary time as well. And then I read this book, and this is a book about 2 children stuck on their own, having to fend for themselves in war-torn London, with the bombs raging around them, London in ruins. And it's a book about how people look out for each other, how they come together in times of adversity. It's adventurous, it's full of fear, it's full of danger, it's full of sadness, it's full of disappointment, but it's also full of friendship and joy and hope, and the range of emotions in this book, and basically humanity, I guess, it just really got to me. And I read this book loads of times, but always under the blanket with a torch, because that created the atmosphere, I guess, of kind of being in a bunker during the war. And the only disappointment, the only letdown, is the ending, because the ending is not good. It's hurried, and it's like she ran out of time and just finished it abruptly and didn't really think it all out, or didn't know how to end it. But that influenced me as well, because I thought I never want to end the story like that. But it's a cool book, check it out. The other book that influenced me in my childhood is not a children's book, although it's not a children's book. It was actually in the bookshelf in my school classroom when I was 10 years old, and I fished it out because I wanted to read something. I'd never heard of it before, and this is not the exact copy, but this is the same edition as the one we had in the school library. You can't tell from that because there's no title written on it. Title's there, which you probably can't see, so I just opened it up and I will show you. It is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And I've always loved Christmas. Christmas is my favourite time of year, my favourite season. And I have to say that I'd never read a book quite like it. The descriptive detail of Charles Dickens, and the little drawings that you got in this edition. And yeah, it started off kind of just about Christmas, and then suddenly there was a ghost, and then there were more ghosts, and there was a bit of almost time travel, and and you know, the character of Scrooge and his nephew and the ghost of Christmas presents and all that kind of stuff, and to me it captured what my idea of Christmas is all about, really. And I guess it didn't just affect me that way. This book really formed the way that Christmas was celebrated from the time that this was written. My Christmases would certainly never have been the same had I not read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So a very short book, really, on the scale of things, but yeah, it was the Christmas dream, really, and it touched me in a way that other books did not. So there we have it. We have A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, Fireweed by Paton Walsh, and The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. So what were the 3 books that influenced you in your childhood?